The next personality we are moving to introvert. A psychologist named Carl Jung began using the terms introvert and extrovert in 1920s. These two personality types sort people into how they get or spend their energy. Introverts, Jung said, turn to their own minds to recharge, while extroverts seek out other people for their energy needs. See, introvert is a person with the qualities of personality type known as introversion, which means that they feel more comfortable focusing on their inner thoughts and ideas rather than what's happening externally. They enjoy spending time with just one or two people rather than large groups of crowds. When you hear the word introvert, you might think of someone who is shy or quiet and prefers to be alone. While that may be true for someone introverts, there's much more to this personality type. Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, all depends on how you process the world around you. So, I'm going to tell the signs which you can assess yourself whether you are an introvert or extrovert. Around one third to one half of all people in the US are introverts. Though it looks different in everyone, introverts have many of the same patterns of behavior. In general, introverts are need quite to concentrate, they are reflective, self aware, taking time to make decisions, and they feel comfortable being alone. They don't like group work, they prefer to write rather than talk. They feel tired after being in a crowd, and they have a few friendships but are very close with them, and daydreaming or use their imagination to work out a problem. Always they'll be in a fantasy, or they'll be daydreaming about what they are going to do in the future or present. So everything they'll keep it in their mind, so retreat into their own mind to rest. So, what causes them to be introvert? Scientists don't know for sure if there is cause for introversion or extroversion. What they do know is for introversion and extroversion is the different depends on brain of two personality types work a little differently from each other. Researchers have found that introverts have a higher blood flow to their frontal lobe than extroverts do. This part of the brain helps them to remember things and solve problems, and they plan based on that. Introvert brains also react differently to dopamine that extrovert brains do. That's chemical that turns on the reward and pleasure seeking part of your brain. Introverts and extroverts have the same amount of the chemical, but extrovert brains at an excited burst from their reward center. Introverts, on the other hand, tend to just feel run down by it. So there are so many types of introverts. Here you could see one person is taking time to decide something, and the other person are thinking about what has happened already. She may feel she may be feeling very bad about that. Okay, so let me explain that types. So introverts usually have a few extroverted traits mixed in with their introverted ones, and vice versa. There are wide range of ways to be an introvert. So social introverts, this is the classical type of introvert. Social introverts like small group and quiet settings over crowds. Then thinking introvert, they'll be always in a daydreaming, as I told earlier. People in this group are daydreamers. They spend a lot of time in their thoughts and tend to have creative imaginations. Oh wow. So I'll be like that, this and all they'll be thinking in their mind. Next, anxious introverts. They seek out alone time not just because they like it, but also they often feel awkward or shy around people. They don't like to be in the group. Next, inhibited introverts. These introverts think before they act. They are not likely to make decisions on a whim. Typically, they take longer time to take decisions. Your introverted ways may change over time and in different settings too. You are not too likely to swim from the introvert to extrovert, but it is possible you could become more or less introverted depending on what's going on in life. That depends on a situation. The based on a situation, you may be introvert or you may be extrovert also. So next, we are moving to extrovert. So extroverts are often described as talkative, sociable, action oriented, enthusiastic, friendly. They'll make so many friends, outgoing, easygoing. On the negative side, they are sometimes described as attention seeking. They want to get attention of others. They'll do many of the things to get people attract toward themselves. Easily distracted and unable to spend time alone. They cannot sit alone. They cannot be at home without anybody. So they want to be in a group. Okay. Extroverts are often described as the life of the party. They are outgoing, vibrant, nature draws people to them, and they have a hard time turning away the attention. They thrive of the interaction. On the opposite side are introverts. These people are typically described as more reserved. They may engage in a multitude of social activities. They need time away from others to recharge their energy. So these are the features of extrovert. So here are some of the personality traits associated with extroversion. What I'm going to say. So if you have these qualities, you will be called as introvert. They will be enjoying social settings. People with more extroverted tendencies are often the center of attention, and they like it that way. They thrive in social situations and they seek out social stimulation. Extroverts often are not afraid to introduce themselves to new people, and they rarely avoid unfamiliar situations for fear of messing up or not knowing someone. And sometimes, while introverts need to escape to their homes or offices after a night out with friends or an intense meeting, extroverts find that too much alone time drains their natural energy. They recharge their internal batteries by being around other people. So sometimes extroverts feel comfortable in large groups. They may be more likely to spearhead group sports or group outings. They may be the ringleader for the weekend activities, after work cocktail hours, with other social events. So they rarely turn down invitations of weddings, parties, and other gatherings. And sometimes they find new friends easily, and if they find any strangers, they will not be moving with. So what happened, this in part because they enjoy other people's energy and getting to engage with people around them. They also tend to have a large social group and many activations with pursuing new interests and activities. Extroverts are often keen to expand their social circles, and they are very optimistic in nature. Extroverts are often described as happy, positive, cheerful, and sociable. They are not as likely to dwell on problems or ponder difficulties. While they experience difficulties and troubles like anyone else, extroverts are often more able to let it roll off their backs. Yes, they least bother about their problems. Extrovert may engage in risky behavior. Some theories assert that their brain is wired to reward them for it if it goes well. So these are the characteristics of extrovert. So extrovert people will be like that. They'll get attention of the people. They'll be a great leaders. They are so happiest. They want to be happy. So these are the best features of extrovert. So next, we are moving to locus of control. So locus of control is the degree to which people believe that they, as opposed to external forces, have control over the outcome of events in their lives. This concept was developed by Julian B. Rotter in 1954. So we have two types: internal locus of control and external locus of control. Here I'm showing you locus of control. Internal locus of control is a psychological concept that refers to how strongly people believe that they have control over the situations and experiences that affect their lives. So here you could see they can make it impossible to possible. Here I have the example of the famous person. I didn't fall the test. I just found 100 ways to do it wrong. So this statement was made by the famous scientist. And if a person has an internal locus of control, that person attributes success to his or her own efforts and abilities. A person with an external locus of control alternatively attributes his or her success to luck or fate or other factors outside of his control. Internal locus of control can also be called agency. Overall, it incorporates the ability to take action, be effective, influence your own life, and assume responsibility for your behaviors. Individuals with a high internal locus of control believe that their interactions with their environment will produce predictable results. In fact, research shows that internal locus of control predicts better health outcome, work satisfaction, and academic success. Internal locus of control has been found to be helpful in maintaining healthy lifestyles. For example, an internal health locus of control involves one's belief in one's ability to impact their own health in a positive way. For example, people with higher levels of internal locus of control have been shown to engage in healthier lifestyles without needing outside support and have lower rates of obesity and other diseases. So, research on individuals who attempt to overcome health damaging behaviors has also shown that benefits of internal locus of control. So, internal locus of control, they will do all manipulations and other thing to overcome the problems or problems in their life, and also to win, they can do anything to winning strategies. So internal locus of control also relate to the academic performance, classroom behavior. So these are the features of internal locus of control. Next, we are moving to external locus of control. External locus of control, people generally believe that their success or failure result from external factors beyond their control, such as luck, fate, circumstance, injustice, bias, and or teachers who are unfair, prejudiced, or unskilled. So everything happening to them is because of outside forces. So for example, if anybody got failed in their marks, they will say the teacher has not evaluated me correctly. So this is the best example of external focus of control. Okay, so yeah, he knows that this will happen. If he cut the wood, definitely he will fall down. But he will say, like, this is the because it has happened from outside forces. By mistake, I did this. So these are the characteristics of external focus of control. I'll tell you one. External locus of control individuals do not deeply analyze situations and typically blame others for their problems. So, see to that if you blame others for your failure, you will be called as external locus of control individuals. So, this creates inclination to refrain from action. So these are the characteristics of internal and external locus of control. So the difference is I control my destiny is by internal locus of control. They control my destiny. It will be called by external locus of control. They are optimistic, they may be called pessimistic. Okay, so these are the difference between internal and external locus of control. The next topic we are going to see about uh, personality based on their physique and other thing. Please don't go anywhere. Come again, one more session will be there. Okay, thank you so much.